Welcome back inside the Chamber of Truth with your co-host Leek and Josh. We got Kane back with us again, back-to-back weeks for you. Yeah. We had a good weekend of fights that just came and went. We had 2 title fights. We're going to start with the one that happened at 140 on DAZN. It was a Matchroom promotion between Richardson, Hitchins, and Liam Paro. Went down in Puerto Rico, where Liam Paro had previously made some fans, where he took out Sabril Matias to get that title. He lost in his first defense this past Saturday to Richardson Hitchins, and what turned out to be a very good, very entertaining fight. I see some casuals out there in boxing land saying that this was a boring fight and that Richardson Hitchins is a boring fider.
This was a technical fight.
I didn't see that at all.
Not at all.
I thought it was a good fight. I thought it had a lot of action, a lot of a beautiful display of technique, and the sweet science. So let's get into it. First off, let's talk about the scorecard. Richardson Hitchins won by split decision, which is kind of crazy considering.
That's a little crazy.
It is crazy.
This fight it seemed to be a clear winner.
For the first 6 rounds, for the first 6 rounds, I'd probably say Liam Paro maybe won 3 or 4 of them. You know, he seemed to be the aggressor, but Richardson Hitchins was just getting his timing down, his distance, his range with a lot of his shots. And then basically from the 6th round on, it was clearly Richardson Hitchins to me. He clearly swept maybe all the rounds, or you might be able to give Paro maybe 1. So I kind of can see how it could possibly turn into a split decision, but
it just doesn't make sense because the 2 judges that had Hitchins both had it 116, 112, which is fine. And then the one judge who had it for Paro had it 117, 111.
Ladies and gentlemen, we call that judge paid
That's
for.
Crazy.
We can't
117, 111.
Last week at the end when you said you predicted you had Hitchins by decision. By split decision.
Yeah.
Did I say that?
That's what you had him, was by split decision.
I did say by split decision.
You said you had him by split decision. This should have been a unanimous decision. It should have been unanimous
for sure.
But I knew it was not going to be a unanimous decision.
This is why I asked you. So when I asked you what I asked you, you tried to play it off like politics don't exist in the sport of boxing.
I did.
I told you, I said, so when this fight happens, if it comes down to a split decision, are they going to give the edge to Richardson Hitchins? The first card they read out was the one in favor of Paro. So I know I held my breath.
I was scared.
I could imagine how Hitchins felt at that
I was
moment.
scared. I ain't going to cap. I was scared.
If you see in the post press, all he's saying is, I'm just glad they didn't take my moment away from me. He knew that was a possibility.
Absolutely.
So
when they read that first card, I walked away. I thought boxing had done it again.
Let's be honest. Boxing has some elements of WWE in it where the promoters want to do some script writing. They wanted Kambosos to come in and fight Liam Paro in a big Australian showdown so they could have the whole country come out and get that bread. Understandably so. But niggas will fuck up your plans sometimes. And that's what Richardson Hitchins did.
You still got to get in the ring and fight, man.
Good on him. But let's get into the fight. So, Josh, you correctly predicted that you had Hitchins winning this fight.
Yes, I did. By split decision. Did I not?
And let's get in. So, break down why you predicted him and what did you see versus what you thought you was going to see.
First and foremost, like I said, Liam Paro is a really good world-class fighter. He's a former champion. You know, he beat the supposed, one-time boogeyman at 140, Subriel Matias, who is still, I think, a hot playing contender at 140 pounds and is actually, I think, on the list for Richardson Hitchins to fight next. So that's a good fight to look for. But Liam Paro, being a southpaw, Liam Paro, he has good tools. He has a good jab, has a good left hand. But in my opinion, I personally didn't think he had seen anybody as polished as Richardson Hitchins. Richardson Hitchins has a very deep amateur background. He's been an Olympian, so he has really good fundamentals, really good technique, really good balance, really good footwork, really good jab, very good distance management. And I just didn't think Liam Paro had seen anybody with distance management like that, with speed, athleticism, defensive, sound awareness, punch selection. Richardson Hitchins looked great last night, to be honest. And to be honest with you, those first few rounds when Paro was getting off and, kind of looking like he was winning rounds, looking aggressive, Hitchins was just basically getting what he was doing, his game plan, figuring out what he was going to do, matching him up with the range and the length and the distance and the timing, the speed, everything. So I just personally thought Richardson Hitchins had better tools and more amateur experience and tools that Liam Paro had not seen. And I personally thought that was exactly why Richardson Hitchins was going to win via split decision.
Yeah, and we talked about a little bit last week about distance management, which he did well, and how his size advantage could play a part, his reach advantage could play a part. I think he utilized all of that. There was a certain punch that he used to dominate this fight, which I'll get into in a second. But Kane, before we do, what was your takeaways just from the fight overall?
I think it was a good fight. I know people was like it wasn't entertaining, but like Josh said, it was a good technical fight. And I wrongly predicted Paro to win. I have to stand on that, you know what I mean? But Hitchins was the better technical fighter. Like you said, he picked his spots. He used the ring well. His foot movement was great. He distanced himself well. He didn't overexert himself. And when Paro in those earlier rounds was to try to dominate and impose his will, Hitchins did stand his ground. He traded when necessary, and he got out of the phone booth when it was necessary too. You know what I mean? The straight right was the dominant punch in the fight for him.
Facts.
He used it well, picked and chose when to use it at the right and appropriate times, and he was just the better technically sound fighter. And just completely dominated, as you said, from round 6 going on towards the championship rounds. He pretty much dominated the fight.
Yeah, with Hitchison obviously being orthodox and fighting Paro, the southpaw, there was a lot of battling for positioning, foot positioning, and going back to what you said, that straight right hand was the punch that won this fight.
Absolutely.
For him.
I think that jab was getting to work too.
Mm-hmm.
That jab, you got to realize that jab started working on him first, and then once that jab get it, then you can start throwing that right hand with a lot more confidence.
But a lot of the times, and there was some where he did set it up 1-2, but he also was throwing it straight.
No, he was throwing lead right hands. He was throwing lead right hands. You got to mix them up.
But he pretty much dominated this fight with straight punches. Like he didn't short shots, pull counters.
Facts.
And then at some point, Paul basically was walking into those shots. Yep. He stood up through them, but it was those straight shots that did it for Richardson in this fight. What do you see next for him?
Personally, me,
what do you want to see for him?
What I would like to see, personally, me, I would love to see him face Subriel Matias. I personally think Matias deserves a shot at his belt back, but the thing is, Matias needs to get a win first. But so I don't think that.
Well, he just got a win last month.
Did he really?
Yeah, he.
He then he's good in the record. But
why Matias next?
I think he's gonna go for Kambosos. I think that makes the most sense. Go pick up a nice check and some new fans in Australia. Have a good time. Enjoy yourself. You know, get an easy fight so you can get that one defense.
Kambosos an easy fight now. That's what we gonna call him, an easy fight.
Respectfully to a boxer, I'm not gonna say easy fight. A man must get in there and fight. You're absolutely correct. That's the only reason I'm gonna hold my tongue.
That's the former champion.
Tio, I'm not gonna say Tio. Tio almost died that night. Anyway, you're right. That's a former unified champion. Get that correct.
Hey, you don't want to say he was easy fight.
But personally, I think Hitchins is on a roll. He has tools. He's younger. He's faster. And with all due respect, he got beat by Maxie Hughes. And I'm talking about George Kambosos. With all due respect.
He got the decision. Kambosos got that decision.
A lot of ASI fighters get the decisions they're not supposed to get.
My only thing is I get it. I would like to see them fight too, but I don't think he should jump straight into a Matias fight.
I agree.
It's like it don't make sense to me.
The street's talking about Devin Haney.
Yeah, but Devin Haney ain't gonna.
He don't need that. First of all, I don't think that would be a good fight too. I don't think that would be smart for Richardson Hitchins at all.
Yeah.
Why would you give a shot to somebody who has more experience than you? And
that's why I said, why would you fight Matias?
Exactly.
You fight somebody who
styles make fights. That's what they want to see.
Yes, but you don't jump into a fight with somebody who is dangerous as Matias, who doesn't even have a belt.
That's why would you do that? That's why I said fight. Go ahead and fight Kambosos. Get that out the way.
That's cool. He had 140, so it's a hot division. It
is. It's a lot of good fighters.
You know it's a hot division.
It's a lot going on up there, so he can do a lot of different routes. He calling out Teofimo. They try to do the Battle of New York with that one. That would be cool. Teofimo is a belt holder.
Yeah.
At 140, so that could be a unification. That would be dope. I think that's interesting because they got the New York thing. Teofimo loves playing into the race bait and shit. And
You sure do.
and him and Richardson are both two
like
people
that.
who can talk
I
a
like
lot.
that.
I like that.
I like that Tio
They
fight.
both
Let's
talk a lot of shit.
They do.
So
They definitely
that could
do.
be one that they can really put some energy behind.
and that could definitely build up Richardson Hitchins' profile and resume.
Absolutely.
That would be
It
huge.
could.
But that's also a very dangerous
That
fight.
is a very
Yes.
dangerous fight, but this is but it's a good payday, and this is a sport of boxing. This
It's
is
high risk, high reward. But hey, it would be dope. I love to see it.
I like I said, I think Hitchens should take a good winnable fight before he gets into a unification or a 50-50 fight. And that's why I said George Kambosos. Continue to be sharp, get the ring rust, whatever you had out of you. He's going to go on a little break. He won a world title. He's going to eat. He's going visit the mayor of New York. He's going to do his thing.
Yeah, I like that George Kambosos idea, but I really do. Now that you laid it out, I like that Teo fight a lot.
You take the Teo fight
I
after
like that Teo.
Kambosos.
Yeah, I like that Teo fight a whole lot.
Have you got the belt? Have your confidence of getting the defense? Maybe a KO over Kambosos, and then bam, we right back in the Teo fight with a buzz on you.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad idea.
That's
I mean,
a perfect
I'm not
idea.
mad
That's
at
a
that.
promoter's idea right there. That's a
He
dream.
just beat one Australian. He can go ahead and give
That's
Kambosos
what I'm saying.
selling as Kambosos opportunity to get back for his countrymen.
Go do the Devin Haney's. Go to Australia. Beat George Kambosos' ass in front of 50,000 people. And go home.
You say that like it's a foregone conclusion.
This is a sport of boxing. Man must fight man.
So what about Paro, man? He said he's going back to the drawing board. What's next for him?
Whatever Eddie Hearn has next for him. Personally, me, I think Paro is still a top contender at 140 pounds. But the problem with Liam Paro is he's a tricky fighter for anybody to fight. And with all due respect, the only type of people that I see beating Liam Paro are people who are naturally gifted, like Richardson Hitchins, Tio, people that have that kind of ability. Because Liam Paro can fight now. You know what I mean? Liam Paro is a very good fighter, has a very deep amateur background, is a former Olympian, and a former world champion. But I just personally think he's gonna probably take a easy fight or two. Hey, he's at 140. He can fight Jack Catterall now. He reach his pro grade if he wants another check. Come back up, get off the couch, give me a win, go back home.
Yeah, I mean there's unlimited possibilities.
He's at Matchroom. Matchroom got a lot of possibilities.
There's a lot
for
of
him.
dudes out there.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna get on another 1 or 2 fight win streak, and then maybe possibly challenge for another title. Maybe even move up to 147. Who knows?
It ain't that time
Yeah,
yet.
I don't know about him moving to 47.
At least not right now. I mean, he got
Richardson
time. He
Hitchins
just-
is long and tall for 140.
Yeah, but he just got his first title there. He got some time.
He got some work to
Yeah.
put in.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited for him. I did pick him to lose this
I did
fight.
too.
We know y'all did. Oh, it was both of y'all. I apologize.
There's no need to apologize for a prediction. If you prove me wrong, I said I would be happy to be wrong.
Well, if you listen
I
to the
wanted
gospel,
the nigga to win.
if you listen to the gospel closely, you'll know who to win.
So you ain't never picked a fight wrong. Okay, got you.
98% of the time.
Now we're going to keep track of your record.
That's fine.
Please do.
But yeah, dope performance from Hitchins. He
was.
dominated with the jab in the right hand, the straight right hand. Was able to come out on top. Glad they didn't rob him from that. He out there turning up in Puerto
right
Rico
man
with
won.
Berlanga
Facts.
and all them
Yeah.
boys. So shout out to
All the
Berlanga.
Puerto Ricans.
Berlanga was wilding on the mic. When they
Berlanga
interviewed
was
him.
wilding.
He was wild.
We gonna get to Berlanga another time.
Berlanga
Berlanga
was
was
wild.
Why was Berlanga? Why when Berlanga got on the mic, he act like he was his corner man?
See?
See what I'm telling him? What I'm trying to tell him? Nigga, didn't you just get up off the canvas your damn self?
Berlanga been wild ever since he got that Canelo fight.
He for sure.
That
been
nigga act like
wild.
he the boxing aficionado.
He for
I
sure.
told him to throw a left hook, duck under that left hook, and then go to the right. Like, nigga, shut up.
Nigga, coach yourself.
Yeah, you
Nigga,
literally
go order your cocktails and go
you
drink.
literally had to pick yourself up off the mat your last fight, man.
Oh man, this nigga Berlanga is out here
They
wild.
let that nigga face the best in the world. That nigga survived, and I ain't think he the best.
Hey, I can't wait till somebody make him and Caleb Plant, bro.
They not gonna let him fight Caleb Plant.
They let him fight Canelo. Shit.
that
Yeah, him and Caleb Plant
If they
gotta happen
told
at some point.
if they told you $10 million to fight a bear, you gonna fight a bear.
Yeah.
Okay,
They might let him fight Caleb.
they're not gonna let him fight Caleb.
That's money.
It is money.
Why would you do that?
That's money.
Y'all don't realize, but Caleb would give him an L, and that would be a stain on Berlanga. You gotta realize Berlanga just fought the biggest star And Canelo Alvarez.
They say Eddie Hearn and Matchroom don't know how to matchmake no more. Their prospects keep getting beat. Sabril Matias just lost his homecoming fight.
He did.
Regis Prograis almost lost his homecoming fight versus Orilla. They say in the matchmaking on Matchroom part ain't been good anyway.
It's looking real shaky.
If he ain't protecting his fighters,
they
throw him in the fire.
They started to do the PVCs. We gonna test you.
Jaleel Hackett just got defeated on the undercard last night.
Respectfully to Jaleel Hackett, he is a very talented 147-pounder, very long, natural boxing skills, very deep amateur record. The problem with Jaleel Hackett is, I honestly don't. I mean, obviously, you can take this loss as serious. You know, you're supposed to take every loss serious. You know, damn near reevaluate your career. But at the same time, Jaleel Hackett is a type of fighter that he's very big and long and tall and strong for 147 pounds. Fighters with his natural ability, he's just used to walking people down and using his natural length and ability and speed and power at the lower weights to bully people and basically get them out of there. And that's what's been working for him. But recently, these last 2 fights, he's been facing fighters that have some skills. You know, they have some fringe level world-class skills. And he's been getting hit a lot more. In this last fight, he was just walking into the dude. I personally don't understand it. He was straight up and down. He didn't set anything up, didn't set any shots up, didn't move to the left or the right, didn't create no angles, no footwork, didn't have any distance management, didn't use his jab enough. Personally, like I said, Jaleel Hackett just walked. It looked to me like he was just walked up to the guy and expected him to wilt and fall based off his natural talent and ability like most boxers have done when he's faced him. Because
me personally, I didn't get to see this fight. I was doing some shit, but when it comes to putting prospects in with people that have some fringe world class experience or some
Jaleel was ready for this
experience, I don't think that's a bad thing. Like if you take a loss at 21 years old, you can still learn a lot and bounce back from that. Like Jaleel Hackett is 21 years old. Like
he's a
at
kid
the end
still.
of the day, when he's 25, 26, who cares that he lost 5 years ago? That's something that he's able to take with him back to the lab and develop off of.
Tell us.
Everybody who's protecting the quote unquote O is really one of the things that's hurting the sport. Like
Absolutely.
You have these promotion companies, these top ranks that'll put these guys, these Abdullah Masons, these super prospects, Jared Big Baby Andersons, these super prospects in these fights and hold their hand for the first 3-4 years that we see them get televised and make them look like they this great thing, and then they get up there with somebody who has some experience and oh shit, they on the canvas. You know, and then now everybody's devastated. The public changes the opinion on these people as soon as they touch the canvas because they've been built up to look like something that they haven't necessarily become yet. So I don't think they're doing a bad job by making these fights. Do it early. Get it out the way. Get your experience points up. I don't care if you got 3-4 losses. If you become dominant by your prime, then you're on schedule for yourself.
And I guarantee you, Jaleel Hackett is not going to be walking straight up and down to a man again.
I could go on a whole rant about this. Y'all know how I feel about the glory days, man.
Talk about it. We
go
got
ahead.
time.
It's just like, man, the whole protecting the O thing, bro. Like, what happened to legacy? What happened to legacy mattering? What happened to the best fighting the best? That's what it's supposed to be about, imposing your will against another grown man, him trying to fight back and impose his will against you. I talk about this fight all the time. I'm going to talk about it till the day I die.
Let him know.
Hagler Hearns was on a Monday night on closed circuit television. On a random Monday night, and it is the greatest 3 rounds you will ever see in your life. The men hated each other. It wasn't no filling out rounds. It wasn't no strategy. It wasn't no game plan. We gonna go in there. We gonna take each other.
Gonna bang it out.
We gonna go out there. We gonna fight. It's the difference between fighting and boxing. We gonna fight.
Facts.
Doesn't happen
That's
anymore.
Absolute facts.
The best fought the best. Whether you take it back to the heavyweights of the heavyweights of the 70s, you take it back to the 4 Kings of the 80s,
90s too.
The 90s, the best fought the best, and that aura. Like you said, is why boxing has lost its aura. It's why boxing isn't viewed as it used to be. The promotions, the companies, the money getting involved.
Right.
It's too much. It's too many hands in a cookie jar.
I wish there was that mentality, but at the same time, there's a lot more money in the sport of boxing than there was back then.
There is, but that's not, to me, that's not an excuse. That's not the whole reason for what we see. Is because right now we have the blind leading the blind. Because, and what I mean by that is the fans are being force fed or falling for the BS here's our ordained next superstar.
He has no losses.
You see,
and he will never lose.
Right.
He's 25-0 with 23 KOs.
Right.
He only went the distance the one time he twisted his ankle.
Right.
And, you know, whatever.
Right.
They're being force fed these, and you believe that to be the next superstar.
Facts.
And then that fighter now, in his head, believes he's that superstar. So now I'm gonna move how I want to move because no matter what I do, they're gonna pay for me.
Exactly.
So that's the blind. That's what I mean by the blind leading the blind. You know, the fighters get these pumped up heads, and they believe that they don't have to fight the best no more because you'll allow me, no disrespect, you'll allow Tank Davis to fight Lamont Roach and still charge a higher ticket price than you did 6 months ago when he fought Frank Martin.
$89.99 for that damn pay-per-view.
You'll charge a higher pay-per-view. Lamont Roach is a champion at 130 pounds.
Right.
That's not where they're fighting at.
Exactly.
Lamont Roach hasn't even had a fight at 135, and the fans are still going to buy and support Tank.
Exactly.
I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm saying that they should demand more of him. They'll still allow Canelo Alvarez to, no, not Benavidez.
Right.
Give me Jaime Munguia, somebody who's never fought a champion, somebody who's young and inexperienced.
He did fight a champion. Don't do that.
Prior to
Saddam Ali at 154 pounds.
Somebody who was inexperienced. I'm talking about Munguia being.
I know that.
I'm saying that
you're right.
Canelo pick someone who's inexperienced,
I agree.
and you'll still pay. A quarter of Mexico's gonna buy the pay-per-view. The money's still gonna roll in because you're not holding him to a higher standard.
He just fought Berlanga,
and a lot of people, and you know, there's that stigma. A lot of people like to throw it out there like Floyd started all this, right? But and there's that stigma out there. But people, when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, I think people forget that part. People forget that part of his era when he was knocking people out. When he fought Emmanuel Augustus, when he fought Zab Judah, when he fought, you know what I mean. Like all of these people,
and I ain't gonna
Arturo Gotti.
I done seen Floyd multiple times, damn near be knocked out. If nobody's seen it, watch Floyd Mayweather versus DeMarcus Corley. DeMarcus Corley hurt Floyd Mayweather 2 or 3 times that fight, and almost damn near got knocked out before Mayweather adjusted to DeMarcus.
It wasn't until he got older, his mentality and the way he approached the business.
The thing about trying to blame it on Floyd is that you can't name someone that he was supposed to fight that he didn't fight.
Exactly.
He ended up fighting everybody.
And here's the thing. Floyd went through the whole entire experience. He was signed to Top Rank from the jet. Bought himself out. He did everything he was supposed to do the right way. He fought the people he was asked to fight.
He beat the game.
Did everything. Diego Corrals, when he was matching against, he was a B-side in that fight. A lot of people don't realize that. HBO put out the winner of this was going to get a 3-4 fight contract with HBO. Floyd Mayweather won that fight and got that contract with HBO, and that really started pushing Floyd Mayweather out there. Man, Floyd had been in some fights, has been hit himself.
Has been in some wars with people. Some absolute wars with people. People forget about Pretty Boy Floyd and they focus on Money Mayweather.
Yeah. I mean, when we know it is prize fighting. The prize is the money. We understand that. Like, yeah, you're supposed to fight, you're fighting to feed your family. But at the end of the day, if you build yourself up as an and this is why I always will have a level of respect for Devin Haney because he is one of the people who's out here making the big fights. Yeah.
He's trying to.
He's definitely trying in making the big fights. Like,
for sure.
And look at him now. Like,
look how the fans treat him.
Whether you like him or not, he's now created himself as a polarizing figure.
Absolutely.
He has a support base and he has a hatred base. But now every time Devin Haney fights, he getting a bigger check than
I will say this. I will say this. This Ryan
fighters.
Garcia loss damn near blew up his profile.
It did.
Because the next time he fights, honestly, that Tio fight, when that offer they made him made no sense because the thing is, Devin's going to bring more eyes to that fight more than Tio. Yeah, obviously, Tio's name is going to help bring in the eyes, but the thing is, like, Devin off that big ass
that whole debacle with Ryan, controversy, and then now him versus
Tio, that would be crazy.
"Quote unquote" offered Haney a fight deal where Tio was the A side and was like a 55-45 split. Which, if you know boxing, that should never happen. Teofimo's not no A side when it comes to Devin Haney.
He's definitely not at all.
Top rank got him believing that he's that.
Yes, he does have the belt. You know, and chances are they would probably want to run up most likely 65% of things through the Top Rank banner.
Okay,
and their promotion.
I don't care if he has the belt. When Tank was in negotiations with Devin Haney, who was going to be the A side, even though Devin Haney was undisputed.
Exactly.
It was going to be Tank Davis. You don't have to have the belt to be the A side.
You don't. That's a fact.
Not because it's prize fighting.
Yeah.
Whoever's bringing the dollars is the A side.
And
Devin Haney has built himself to be an A side versus pretty much everybody he would fight except maybe Tank Davis now.
Yeah.
Because he's known to make the big fights. That's why people know who he is.
That's a fact.
Because he's known to make big fights. So you can still be a prize fighter and fight for your family.
Tell them.
Even at a more higher exponential degree if you make the big fights.
Right.
So those who are trying to protect themselves by protecting the O, it's kind of hustling backwards.
Right.
You're taking the long road.
At the same time, though, in this day and age, I'd be doing the same thing if I was a fighter. I have to do what everybody else is doing. I'm sorry. In this day and age, I hate to say it, but the thing is, you can't be the only one out there taking them risks, because the thing is that everybody gonna realize is them risks, if they don't work out for you, they gonna end equals less money for you. So, and that's why it's smart to sign with a promoter. So there's two sides to it. That's the thing is, like, I would love for boxers to continue to take the tough fights, but the thing is, for example, give it the Brian Norman versus Boots situation. Mm-hmm. If Brian Norman would have took that fight, and most chances are he would have lost to Boots, he would have went back to Top Rank with no belt, no leverage for them to have him sign him. He just got beat up and most likely KO'd on national TV. If that fight would have happened, with all due respect, to Brian Norman, I think you got a chance in that fight, but it's just not a good situation for Brian Norman, especially when he doesn't have the as many. Brian Norman has world-class level experience, but just not as much as Boots.
But so that's the same example I can use with what Espinoza said, the Shakur Tank negotiations. They said we offered Shakur a deal to fight Tank, but it was a one-fight deal. Shakur
why would I take that fight? Why would I take that?
Shakur wanted a multi-fight deal because he was a free agent at the time.
Why
If
would
I
I
accept and fight Tank, I make my $10 million or whatever I make. If I get knocked out, I have no promotion company.
You have
backing
no
me.
promotion
What's
company.
my next fight gonna be?
Right.
Now I have no title.
Listen, no title, no leverage to go to a promotional company with. What are you gonna? And the thing is, anybody that takes you on has to spend money on you to promote you and build you back up.
Yeah.
They have to. And the thing is, people know who Shakur Stevenson is. They can't just pay some B-side dude. He's like, no, I don't want $500K for Shakur. Because the thing is, they know they looking for dudes. They got to pay dudes to make that can stand there, so Shakur can look good to build him back up.
I won't go back to something you said. I'm opposed it to Kane. When you said if you was fighting today, you would do what everybody else is doing, and that's the thing. Everybody's doing the same thing.
You kind of have to.
But Devin Haney's not. So all these dudes want to compare themselves to Floyd Mayweather. He's the golden standard now. He didn't get to where he was at by doing what everybody else is doing. Not. So let me get your take on that part of it. Like, how you guys all want to be Floyd,
right?
But you're not setting yourself apart.
Yeah, I like you said, I like what Devin Haney's doing, and I like the way he's going about it. He's trying to take the tough fights or try to make them as much as he possibly can. He can only do so much. And
you can tell he's really about his legacy.
He cares about his legacy. Like, you like him, love him, hate him, or indifferent about him, he appreciates. And that's, for me, is the legacy for me when it comes to the sport of boxing. Why I love it so much. It's legacy has always mattered. To the greats, it always mattered. We talk about it all the time. We talk about Winky. We talk about Tito. We talk about Sugar Shane Mosley. We talk about that era, Sweet Pea, that era we grew up in, the early 90s, early 2000s. Legacy mattered to them. Like, the money is way more now. Money does definitely matter too, but at the same time, we remember these legends for the fights they had. That's why we talk about them. We reminisce about them so much. That's why there's a constant comparison, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, boxing, between this era and the old guard.
Facts.
And everybody's, the old guard is mad because they're not making as much money, which may be true. But it's also because of what they did to get the sport to this point. And boxing had a short resurgence for a little while. Boxing has had a good couple years.
Big facts.
And it's the same thing. That's culture wide. Like, that go for rap. It go for like athleticism. Oh, how many records did you sell? He made more money than he ever made.
The game
he must be better.
Constantly changing for sure. But I love the way Devin Haney is trying to go about it. Like you said, how do you want to have the Floyd model, but you're not trying to do
Floyd took a lot of early risks.
A lot of early risks.
He did shit that other people wasn't trying to do.
Diego Corrales was a risk. Angel Manfredi was a risk.
Exactly.
DeMarcus Corley was a huge risk.
It wasn't until he started breaking his hands and his hands got really bitter that he became more of a defensive style fighter. People forget that.
I agree with you. And as fans of the sport, legacy usually matters to the fans of the sport. So to me, taking big fights and taking risks can work out for you in the long run.
Definitely.
But at the same account, the fans do have to be more forgiving when a nigga pick up a loss.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That is true.
You can't sit up here and chastise everybody for losing a fight.
That's true.
And then demand them to fight the best.
That is
like,
true.
if I'm a fighter, why I'm gonna fight the best if I know as soon as I take the L, you're gonna write me off as just he was a fraud, like he wasn't never what he said he was. So you do gotta protect yourself in that sense a little bit. Like,
and honestly, that's a great point because there's a big there's just been a lot of miseducation about boxing. You know, people think if you have 1 or 2 losses, you're ass. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. But you know,
we made greats with 5 or 6. Ali got
there
6 or 7.
There are greats with 10 losses. You know what I mean? Like you got to realize, bro. Like when you're fighting on a world class level, you're going to lose a few fights. Like there's 2 men in there.
Right.
One of them has to win and one of them has to lose.
Exactly.
It's simple math.
Exactly. It's not rocket science.
And that's the thing I also don't really like about these casual boxing fans. There's a lot of people are uneducated. For example, I'll give you a perfect example. Abel Ramos. Mm-hmm. A lot of people were scoffing at the fact of him getting that title fight against Mario Barrios. Abel Ramos was like 28-7, 28-8. But the thing is, 5 or 6 of those losses are the world champions, are people that are like world title challengers. So like he's fought many eliminators. Unfortunately, just lost or came out the wrong end of the decision.
They look at the kind of fight he gave Barrios.
But look what happened. You give man his opportunity to change his life overnight.
Yep.
That man put on the performance of I had never seen him perform like that. I'd never seen him that sharp.
Never seen him fight like that.
Never, bro. He had skills, but you could just tell he was always overmatched.
Right.
He found a way to clear that separation gap real quick with Mario Barrios.
But see, and that's a good example. But it's like today, you look at Tank. He's the modern day example of a prize fighter because
that is a huge fact.
The fans will
that's an
allow
example.
Tank to move how he wants, and Tank just last week just flat out came out and said, I don't care about being one of the best. I don't care about legacy. I don't care about none of that shit. He said, I'm gonna make my money fighting whoever I want to fight. I don't need to fight Shakur. I don't need to fight Devin. I don't care.
Right.
So that's where he throws legacy out the window.
Right.
But his support system stays behind him.
Yeah.
That's
facts.
He's not even incentivized to behave differently.
Right.
Here's my thing. I understand now.
Yeah.
Who would love boxing? In my opinion, think about it. Who wants to get hit in the head, hit in the body, filled with pain? Who wants to be in a fight? Nobody. Who wants to run miles and be in that kind of shape? Nobody.
Right.
But I understand there are many people that don't love boxing. I understand that. And that's okay. People that are very talented, they're just very good at what they do. But at the same time, I just can't believe, like, you don't get bored of knocking everybody out. Like you don't have an itch to challenge somebody. Like,
see where your skill set really lies,
I get you don't love it, but it's like you obviously here because you like the money. Mm-hmm. Why not double your money and take a big fight? Double your money again and take another big fight since you're coming out the sport. But the thing is, so I get it. You know, he's moving how he wants to move.
Right.
But I also don't know if he is going to retire in 2020.
Like I said, he's moving how he wants to move, and he's making probably 60-70% of what he could make if he just would take the fights that people want to see.
And the promoters know that. But so you don't know if the promoters told him, hey, in 2025, man, you're going to have to take 1 or 2 of these fights, 50-50 fights.
Right.
You know, we need you to take a fight or two because we can't keep allowing you to. We can't keep paying. You got to realize PBC and Tank had an issue for a little bit with the pay because they weren't trying to, you know, that's why the Lamont Roach fight that was originally announced for December got pushed out to February.
He just really needs to take 2 of them. Choose one of the black fighters. You don't have to fight both.
You don't.
Choose Haney or Shakur. Whichever one you want.
Choose Shakur if you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Fight one of them. Cool.
Right.
And then fight one of the non-black Fight T.O.
Yes.
Fight T and do it before Richardson.
He was on.
Do it before Richardson.
He was on
before Richardson for sure.
If Richardson Hitchins unifies before Gervonta Tank Davis,
see, that's what I was saying.
Gervonta Tank, I don't think
he deserves.
Gervonta Davis has been a champion since 2016. Do people realize that?
It's almost been a decade.
If Richardson Hitchins unifies the division,
yes,
before Gervonta Davis, I don't know what to say.
See,
that he deserves the support Tank gets.
He definitely does.
Then he deserves the support that Tank
gets.
And
honestly, I like the way Richardson Hitchins moved because, you know, him and Tank were buddies and they kind of, you know, separated.
Right.
And Richardson, because he didn't like the way Richardson Hitchins gave some of his opinions on Tank.
Right.
And said who he should be fighting and who he should be doing this.
Right.
Tank hated that.
Hey,
the truth hurt.
Hey, dude. Ain't no wrong with speaking your mind. You know, and, you know, just going back to wrap it up on Haney, you know, he still has his O. regardless of public opinion.
He does.
I wasn't mad when he was he lost when he was gonna have the L.
I wasn't either.
I actually think the L was gonna help him in the court of public opinion because it kind of knocked him off his high horse. He got his little humbling, quote unquote.
Yep.
It's just once he came back and got his O back, it gave people more
reason
to hate him again.
The Father gave us our O back. We learned all our lessons without having to deal with the consequences.
You would have been better off taking that one, bro.
I think
the
L would have helped it.
What do you mean better off? He was on steroids.
I understand that.
Didn't adhere to weight and used IV. And mind you, he used IV and didn't even make weight with the IV.
I'm not arguing that. The nigga cheated.
You wanted him to take an L off of that?
No, I'm saying in the court of public opinion, he would have gained more favor with the fans.
Fuck the court of public opinion.
I think so. I think he's more hated now that he got
this is boxing, a dirty business. A man was assaulted in the ring, and this is what you're worried about.
So a nigga was assaulted in a sport where they bang each other heads in.
Nigga, fuck you.
So he don't got the right to assault him back
legally.
His hands registered too.
First and foremost, that's why we are in court right now to get another couple mil off of him. And two, then we gonna beat his ass in the ring, and we gonna make sure he clean when we do that. And we will show you the difference of a clean fighter who makes weight and doesn't use IVs after the fight or have to do settlements with his lawyers with the New York State Athletic Commission because the nigga finna be suspended for 10 years.
All right, man, you got it. We're going to bring it back, man. There was another title fight that happened this past weekend. The top ranked card, Emmanuel Navarrete defended his title at 130 in a rematch versus Oscar Valdez. He dominated this fight even more so than he did the first time around. So, real quick, Navarrete, his last win prior to this fight was against Oscar. He had a draw with Conceição and a loss to Dennis Berinchyk at 135. Then he comes back down to 130 and fights Oscar Valdez, and all of his confidence is magically restored. And he dominated this fight, got the stoppage. Why he looks so different at 130 this time than what he did in his last two fights?
Because he's super big and has a huge advantage of his length, strength, and size at 130 pounds. Personally, I saw Oscar Valdez was trying to box. I saw everything he was trying to do. The problem is Emmanuel Navarrete had basically already seen his style and had looked like him and his camp had done a great job of putting a game plan together because they were cutting the ring off, throwing a lot more shots to the body than they did in the first fight, and that's what ultimately got Oscar Valdez out of there. Was a good body shot to the liver, I believe.
Yeah, that liver shot was nasty work.
So, like I said, Valdez actually looked pretty sharp at first, but like I said, that man is just too big for that 130 pounds, in my opinion, bro. He just goes up to everybody and just weight bullies him. So,
but he's not that at 135, so he almost damn near need to stay there because
personally, he
did not look great at all versus Berinchyk.
You know what I personally think? I just think he looked fat at 135, and I think he didn't really put too much weight. I think that was just
he kind of looks like that at 130.
I think that. Yeah, but he can do that. But the thing is, with fighters at 135 pounds that are stronger, you can't do that. And that's why, and that's the thing. He's not going to want to not stop eating. You know what I mean? He's not going to want to do abs and stuff. You actually have to put a little bit more work. He's using his God-given gifts and abilities at 130. He's just, he throws.
Yeah, because to me, it just looked like he was so confident. Like, okay, I seen Valdez
before. But you got to give it to him.
I know he can't hurt me. But I'm going to just walk in and throw whatever punch I want. I'm not really going to sit up here and box.
There's no fear.
There's no fear. I'm just going to throw whatever punches I want. Like I'm just hitting a combo dummy damn near. And he literally did whatever he wanted at any time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he completely just dominated the fight. Like I was hoping to see, as we talked about last week, some adjustments in what Oscar Valdez was going to do going into this second fight. But it just comes down to, and it happens to everybody. It's just there's always somebody that got your number. And that's just this situation for him. We've seen it in plenty of other fights. We've seen it with Fury and Wilder. There's just certain people you just cannot beat. And there's certain people that just always have your number, whether it's a size difference, a skill set difference, or just their mentality, how they go about it. And he was just, like you said, he was throwing more punches. He's pretty much walking in there doing whatever he wanted to, walked him down, cut the ring off, hit him with some nasty liver shots. a nasty uppercut, by the way, too.
Yeah, right before that.
Yeah,
that
right before
was,
that, a nasty uppercut. It was a rough night for Oscar Valdez. He showed a lot of heart. He had typical Mexican fighter, a lot of heart, a lot of pride. But it's just
Oscar's just been in too many wars, bro.
Yeah,
you can't take those kind of shots as the older you get, especially with the amount of wars Oscar's been in. You just can't take those kind of shots anymore.
It's just tough because at 130, there's not a whole lot of star power.
Shockey Foster. Then you got Lamont Roach. That's about to come off this fight.
I don't know if Shock's top rank deal is up or not.
No.
Right.
But because I think he only had like a three fight deal, and then he just finished with the rematch with Conceição. That was his last fight, I think.
He got his belt back.
So with that being said, I don't know if he's going to re-up, but if he's still on top rank, you could obviously make that fight. That would be cool to see. Lamont Roach is good at 130, but he's about to fight Tank at 35. So we'll see what happens with him after that. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, for Navarrete, who can really challenge him down there or who he should really be looking for next, the division is just not really on fire like that now. So I don't know. I mean, if he could stand up at 135, if he would have won that belt, I think he would have stayed if he beat Barincic. But I don't know what he's gonna do next.
Right? Yeah, I have no clue where he goes.
That's very interesting. I'd like to see a unification fight for once with Emmanuel Navarrete. See him in a big fight with somebody.
Mm-hmm. It's probably gonna be a shock because they're both messing.
Styles
with
make fights. So. That would be a great fight. I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, Shocky's a boxer. He's got size. I think he can hold up.
He's absolutely boxer puncher. You're right.
That'd be good to see.
Yeah, for sure.
It ain't really too much more to go into on this fight.
No,
it was
a quick night.
Absolutely.
But what I want to talk about is overseas Riyadh season, Turkey Al Sheikh, and the upcoming card with Fury Usyk rematch. Mm-hmm. But we'll get to that next week. About that card, what I want to talk about is the co-main event that has now been sabotaged by the same damn people who booked it. You're not getting this one past us.
Yeah, that's not going through.
As soon as the February card was announced with the Bivol Beterbiev rematch, and y'all threw Israel Madrimov versus Virgil Ortiz on that card, we knew something had to give. Yeah. And sure enough, y'all played my dog, Serhii Bohachuk.
For the second time.
Second time.
You played him. Y'all took Madrimov off the card, talking about he got bronchitis.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, all they did was pay a doctor. So the fight was booked. He got a doctor's note. Serhii Bohachuk and Israel Madrimov. The fight was booked.
Exactly.
And then a better fight came around, and he was booked for a fight 2 months after this supposed first fight was supposed to happen. So what did the promoters do? Simple. Let's get a doctor and pay him to write a bullshit bronchitis report saying that he cannot fight in the upcoming months.
But get him out the look first at all of the ways they played Bohachuk. Not only did you take his dance partner away, you gave him to the nigga that he just arguably beat. Virgil Ortiz did not clearly defeat Bohachuk in their last fight. No. A lot of people claimed robbery, whatever. Yeah. It wasn't a robbery. It was a close fight.
Very close.
It was very, very close.
Serhii Bohachuk, I personally thought he won. A lot of people had him winning. He dropped Virgil 2 times in that fight.
I had him winning for sure. So
Serhii did not go down. Virgil did twice, and he still lost.
Right.
Like, yes, Virgil landed the bigger shots throughout the fight. Yes, he did. But
who has more world-class fighters, Tom Loeffler or Golden Boy Promotions?
Golden Boy Promotions.
Okay. That's exactly why that fight happened.
They played him, bro.
This is the second
hot for him.
And I understand because this is the second time. Serhii Bohachuk was supposed to fight Sebastian Fundora for the vacant 154 WBC 154-pound title, but what ended up happening was the original booked fight, which was the Prime Video opener for boxing for PBC. Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman got a bicep injury, and Fundora ended up getting bumped up to the main event to fight Tim Tszyu. And guess what? Say that title also went up with Sebastian Fundora. So Serhii Bohachuk went from fighting for a 154 vacant title to not getting a world title shot. Now he fought for an interim title, against Brian Castro, I forget his name, but a very good fighter himself.
Mendoza. He fought Mendoza.
He fought Brian Mendoza, who's a good world-class fighter himself, who beat Sebastian Fundora. But, it's just, these are two huge fights that are very good paydays that now Turkey Al Sheikh has taken away from Serhii Bohachuk.
And credit to you, because when we first heard about this news, you called You called bullshit immediately. You did. You called it immediately. You said there's no way they go to war, and 2 months later you expect the winner to come out and go to war.
And guess
right
what?
After that.
And guess what happened? 2 days later, they came out with that doctor.
Come out with a doctor note.
We know that's not possible, bro.
Like this is the bullshit I be talking about that's wrong with boxing. This is what really like irks me about the sport, bro. It's
everybody's involved in it.
Stop booking people 2 fights at a time.
We gotta stop doing
especially
that,
at the world class level.
A better fight became available. This has been happening for ages, unfortunately. A better fight became available, more money, bigger promoter.
Then say it.
That's right. Don't
they
say
can't come out and say that.
Like,
they can't come out and say that. They have to go through the correct channels in the sport of boxing.
So instead of Serhii Bohachak versus Israel Madrimov, we have Serhii Bohachak versus Ishmael Davis.
Ishmael Davis is a good fighter.
Cool, you know that as a boxing purist.
Yeah,
this does not pop off the
but
same.
I understand this is not.
The damn February card has 6
agree.
fights that are fucking top-notch fights. This card in December now has 1. Yeah, why wouldn't you spread out some of the love?
This about Ishmael Davis. The casuals go like, who the fuck is that?
I don't even know who Ishmael Davis is. Like, why would you not have some of those? You have 6 fucking world-class fights on the February card, and now the December card, which the co-main event was really the other really big draw to the card, is now taking a major hit because you take off the guy who just fought Crawford and gave Crawford trouble. He's not on there no more.
Yeah, he gave Crawford one hell of a fight.
That was going to be a great co-main event. Now it's okay, I'm not going to disrespect Ishmael Davis, but it's not the same. It don't pop off the page like Bohachuk Madrimov.
It definitely don't.
Like, you just basically sabotage this card for the next card.
Yeah, now that's crazy. I'm actually kind of surprised there really isn't. So what's the? Can you name the undercard for the Fury?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
I'm actually curious to hear what this undercard is.
Let me
Is it really that bad as it sounds?
I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it's the way that
it's just not a typical Rita card.
Yeah, we know what the next card looks like.
Especially know what the February card is.
The February card is like off the charts.
Yeah.
So this card has.
You can tell they like put half-ass effort into this.
Oh, sorry, that's the first one. Let me find the rematch card.
He's about to name all.
Yeah, because that was I was looking at Opatai. I'm like, nigga, he's not on there no more. Reignited. I don't know where it's at, man, but I'm telling you, it's not the same, bro. Like,
you should be able to look at the box rec. It'll show the full card.
All right, let me see if I can find. I'm trying to see if I can find the card.
But the point remains, bro. Like, it's not gonna be like the card we have coming up. We know what's on there. Shakur Stevenson versus Floyd Schofield, Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov, Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev.
So I got the card for you right here.
All right, so the Usyk Fury 2 card is Usyk Fury, obviously. Bohachuk versus Ishmael Davis. Moses Itamo versus Dempsey McKean. That's a heavyweight fight. Johnny Fisher versus Dave Allen at heavyweight. Dennis McCann versus Peter McGrail, super bantamweight. Isaac Lowe versus Lee McGregor at featherweight. None of those are jumping off the page.
What is that? What is that? What is it?
Now compare that to what I just said.
That's crazy.
When you have Shakur Stevenson, Virgil Ortiz, Madrimov
over there.
Beterbiev.
Like, come on,
that's
now.
Crazy, bro.
Y'all
They just completely blew up this card to say, fuck it, we gonna focus on February pretty much.
Basically.
The February card. Beterbiev Bivol. Daniel Dubois versus Joseph Parker.
Crazy.
Shakur Stevenson versus Floyd Schofield. Carlos Adames versus Hamza Shiraz.
Crazy.
Virgil Ortiz versus Israel Madrimov.
Crazy.
Joshua Buatsi versus Callum Smith.
Crazy. What are we talking
Zhang
about?
versus Caballo.
Come on. What are we talking about?
What are we doing for December for Usyk and Fury? What are we doing? You bringing Missy Elliott back? You bring a Bustle Bus back? You bring a CC back?
What are we talking about?
Come on,
that man don't have one undercard fight. That was the only undercard fight.
Literally.
That don't make no damn sense, y'all.
He couldn't have fought at least Josh Kelly?
Like, come on.
Something. Like, something.
Like, I'm gonna give Turkey and him a pass because he's still been doing good shit.
He been going down with his undercard side.
He fumbled. Y'all fumbled this one.
Yeah, he definitely fumbled this one because he been in his bag. So, but Jesus Christ.
I'm just really hot, bro. I really rock with Bohachuk. Like, I mean, I think he's dope. He a great fighter.
Hold twice.
I like how he talk on Twitter. Like, he always come correct. and that's twice now that they pulled the rug from under him.
Yes.
In big shots that he done earned. So, I mean, hopefully he get another one. You know, hopefully he got some step aside money for this bullshit. They did him wrong. I mean, Matchroom was a dog, but nigga, we knew you wasn't gonna fight no Bohachuk and 2 months later fight Virgil Ortiz. That's just no crazy.
That is crazy.
That's like, come on, bro. That's not even realistic.
Medically, you can't even do that.
Yeah, 2 months.
Right, you was gonna be suspended after this fight for at least 4 or 5 months.
Exactly. That's what they realized. They was like, "Nah, he'll be fun. No, he gonna get suspended."
Exactly.
You knew that. Like come on,
bro. That
bro.
wasn't even realistic, bro.
Yeah, that's like I said. That's another one of the things that's an issue with boxing, and I always hate when they book a fighter by twos.
Yeah,
even like it goes back to what we were saying with some of the promoters, like trying to force feed the prospects on you. They book Abdullah Mason shows 2-3 at a time.
That's crazy.
They be having him scheduled to fight 2-3 times in 6-week breaks.
That's crazy.
Like, bro, you expect us to be impressed by this?
Right.
No. And then he finally does fight somebody with some experience and some power, and he hits the canvas a couple times. But because he's your beautiful, talented, and touted Abdullah Mason, this is great for him. That's fine. I agree with you. But treat everybody that way.
Exactly.
Don't just say when he gets hurt and has a learning experience, it's great for him. It's great for a lot of the prospects.
Absolutely.
It should be.
That's my issue is the favoritism and like
trial by fire.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think all the prospects should be going through some sort of gauntlet to prove you really the cream of the crop.
Right.
You know?
How we gonna know who's really the top prospects and who separates themselves if everybody's fighting on the same playing field?
That's true.
Yeah. So, well, that's what we got right now, man. Get with us next time inside the Chamber of Truth.